Let's talk ammo, my friends. So, escape from Tarkov. Get a lot of ammos. A lot of ammos. You know, we got a bunch of different guns, bunch of different calibers. Each one's got a ton of different rounds. So, new players always ask, you know, which one do I use? At what level? When do I get them unlocked? What ammo should I be using? Simple question. With a million different answers. So, basic concepts before we start getting into each round here. My theory, and a lot of people agree with this, some don't. I want to gear up to fight the guy that's geared up with the most stuff. That's going to mean, in the game right now, the Ford armor and the Fast MT helmet. Those are going to defend against the biggest range of ammos and take the most hits. So I want to take down that guy in the raid if I run into him, or anybody else for that matter. They just added the new 6B47 helmet as well. So, a couple quick things about that. With helmets, you have the cold pack, you have the Kiver, you have the 6B47, you have the Fast MT. As they go up, Kiver finally got moved up to armor class 3, cold pack is 2. Best thing for cold pack is to protect against hatchets and the occasional, maybe small Makarov rounds and shotgun round, buckshot, stuff like that. Kiver, gonna start stopping a little bit of 9x19 PST here and there. 6B47 might stop one rifle round and save you from that one-tap headshot. Fast MT might stop 2 or 3. It's not a hard and fast rule for any of those. But, as a general concept, it's the best way to think about it. They may stop more bullets. So, let's get into the ammos. And we'll talk more about those helmets later. 5x45 by 39. 5.45 by 39. Start with that. Level 1 Prey Pour, you're going to get your PS ammo. General, all-around good round. Can't go wrong. Simple. Gonna do more flesh damage. Penetration is so-so. Level 2, you're gonna move up to the PRS. Now, this round was really good. It got nerfed in one of the recent patches. You kind of don't want to use this anymore. So, stay away from that. It doesn't do as much penetration, doesn't do as much flesh damage anymore. Not gonna be your go-to. The level 1, keep using that PS. Level 2 Prey Pour, keep using the PS. Once you get to level 3, this is where things start to change. The PP rounds. Probably the one I use the most out of any 5.45 by 39. So this is going to be for your AKS-74U, your AK-74Ns, anything that shoots 5.45. This has much better object penetration, so that means, you know, sometimes trees, not always. The metal barriers along the roads and customs, those kind of light cover areas, it's going to penetrate better than PS. Even sometimes better than some of the armor piercing stuff. So this is your good go-to catch-all bullet. So when you say can't camp the traders and buy out some of the better BT, BP, BS armor piercing rounds, PP is almost as good. It's got really good penetration, it does really good flesh damage for the type of round it is. It's kind of a good catch-all. This is what I use, I'd say like 70% of my runs, just because sometimes I don't feel like camping the traders if I can't find those other rounds. This is level 3 Prey Pour. So for your armor piercing rounds for 5.54 by 39, BP is going to be level 3 Prey Pour. That's going to be a very good armor piercing round, good decent flesh damage as well. Level 4 Prey Pour BS is going to be available to you. That's going to be even better armor penetration and a little bit less flesh damage. Those are what you're going to want to be using late game for high armor penetration rounds. Other than PP, those are going to be the best as far as straight up armor penetration, slightly less flesh damage. But if those are sold out, you still want to go with the PP. Typically, I would grab the one that does the most armor penetration. That's kind of what I go with for every round here, and that's, you're gonna see that theme. Because I want to take out that guy with Fort and Fast MT. I want to always go for headshots and take out that helmet as fast as I can. With few exceptions, maybe if I'm using a shotgun and I have to shoot him in the legs, or you know, maybe even an SMG, and I'm using 9x19 PST, might have to shoot him in the legs. But typically, I'm gonna want to always go through headshots and just burn through that helmet. A couple hits. So, we've covered 5.54. Let's move on to our 7.62. Level 1 skier is your only option for a 7.62 round when you start out, and the only thing you can get is a HB, which is your hollow point. Really great flash damage. Beginning of wipes, this round will annihilate anybody, you know, without armor. With P.A.K.A, 7.62 is really good, even if it's a hollow point. You can almost one-tap people into a black limb with 7.62 by 39 hollow points. However, later on, when people start moving up in armors, it's not quite as good. Some people still like it. It will still do a lot of damage to armor and stuff like that. However, level 2, you'll grab the PS round. In my opinion, it's a little bit better at destroying the armor. Still has good flash damage. And again, a lot of this, as you'll see, is Tarkov is trade-off between armor penetration and flash damage. Your mileage may vary. Use what you like. You know, you'll feel it in game as far as time to kill and what you're running into. Early patch, late patch. Level, I believe it's 4 Prey Pour. You move up to the BP round, and that's your armor piercing bullet. And this is where you'll notice that I feel, at least when I play, you'll notice that big difference between armor penetration and flesh damage. Now I go and shoot even an unarmored scab with BP rounds. It's gonna take me, you know, 1 to 2 rounds more versus a PS round. You know, and depending on how you're doing in your raids, that could make a difference for you. You know, if you're hitting somebody in the head, it's not gonna matter. You're gonna still, you know, pretty much one-tap them. And again, with my theory of I want to take down that guy in the fort fast, I want the BP rounds. The scab doesn't matter to me. I'm still probably going to have an easy time against him. But that could vary depending on your skill. So, 7.62 BP also, sometimes you can one-tap a guy through a fast MT helmet. A great round. You know, your SKS, AKM, you might be in good shape. Even your Veper's basically the AKM as well. So, also one of my favorite rounds. If you can't find the BP, I usually go with PS. Some of these things are getting easier to find. Now that there's a little bit more, you don't have to camp the traders. So we'll move on to 5.56. Level 1 Peacekeeper, you get 8.55. It's all you can use, level 1 Peacekeeper. So if you have an M4 at that point when you have level 4 Peacekeeper, this is the only thing you can use. Level 2, you get the FMJ. Those differences are going to be minor. Later on, level 3 Peacekeeper, you can get the 8.55A1. That's going to be your, again, catch-all round that you're going to use 90% of the time, unless at level 4 you camp the trader and find an M995. 995 is going to be the highest penetration, does good damage. You know, it, again, that's what you're going to fight your fort fast guys with. If you can't find that 8.55A1, it's going to be plenty good as well. Next thing. Our SAS was introduced recently. So you have, instead of using these on the DVL, it's the same bullet. You have the 7.62 by 51. There's an M80 round that used to be the only one they had. Now they have M60 and M61. M61 is the armor piercing round. Highest armor penetration in the game. Still great flash damage. This thing will annihilate anybody in armor. That's what you want to use if you can find it. Otherwise, M80's fine. SP6 and SP5 are going to be your Val rounds. They're the 9x39. SP6 is the armor piercing one. You pretty much always want to use that. SP5, slightly less armor penetration, a little bit more flash damage. SP6 is what you want, though. 100% of the time. 9x19. Here's a big one. You have a couple options with 9x19. You have PSO, you have PST GZH, and you have the Luger round, which is new, the blue tip. You always want to use about 9x19 PST GZH, and you'll hear PST GZH in a couple of these rounds. So remember that. It's the highest armor penetration, and really the flesh damage isn't that much different. You always want to use PST GZH with 9x19. The Luger round has high flesh damage. It's not even worth it with the amount of money you have to spend per bullet. The PSO, it doesn't do a whole lot of armor penetration, so really the only 9x19 round you should think about is 9x19 PST GZH. And then we'll go over to 9x18. This is the Makarov. Typically, in the Ketters and Clins, typically you're not going to want to use these rounds anywhere at all. Very, very low armor penetration, so if you go up against anybody with P.A.C.A., even a Cole pack sometimes, it's really, really not going to do you any good. You're going to have to put a lot of rounds into somebody. So I highly recommend staying away from anything with 9x18. They're just not going to gear you up to do well. So you have your PST GZH, which is good, BZT GZH, which is also pretty decent, and then you move up to the PMM later. The PMM only fits, because it's an overpacked charge, only fits in certain models, so like the threaded PB with the silencer on it and stuff like that. So that one's your best round. PST GZH and BZT GZH are also pretty good. But again, as a whole, I would stay away from 9x18 guns. They're just not going to help you out unless it's, right when a wipe happens and nobody's really running even armor at all. Move on to your 7.62x54. This is the sniper round for the SP98s. This one, really the only one you want to use is 7N1. It's going to be your highest armor piercing one. It's just good to go. That's the only one you want to think about. And then we move on to the 7.62x25. This is for your TT. Level 1 Prey Pour. When you can get the TT, you're only going to be able to get the FMJs. They're so-so. TT used to be really good. They kind of nerfed it. Level 2 Prey Pour, you're going to be able to move up to the LRN PC, which used to be a really good round that you could one-tap people through kivers and stuff like that. However, that is no longer a case. That was quite a few patches ago. It's very mediocre round now. And then level 3 Prey Pour, you can move up to the PST GZH, which again, we hear that round in a pistol round. That's going to be your best round for the TT. It's quite expensive for a pistol round. Again, if you're going to go with a pistol, anything with 9x19 PST is going to be your best option. They are more expensive than a Makarov or a TT, but you're just going to set yourself up for a little more success. Still, if you run into somebody with Fort and Fast, you're probably not going to do that great. But, you might be able to hit them in the legs and run away. Hit them in the legs, run away, etc. Maybe get lucky. So that's what you want to look at for those. Other rounds to think about is if you're using the Shrimp, or as we like to call it, the SR1 MP. You have SP13 and SP10. 13 is going to be a tracer round. That's this one right here. As an armor piercing tracer, that is technically the best armor piercing and best flesh damage SP round for that particular weapon. The 9x21 SP10 is a non-tracer round. Pistols, I tend to be okay with tracer rounds rather than rifles, where I seem, with more volume of shots that you're going to be putting out, you'll seem to give away your position a little bit more, where pistols probably doesn't matter as much. So usually you want to go with the SP13 for this. If you really don't want the tracer, SP10. I believe that covers all of our ammo types. Hope that ammo video helped you out, guys. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. Come over to Twitch. I'm live every day, 8 p.m. Eastern to at least 2 a.m. Ask questions and help you out. Small note, there is a new patch coming up with interchange. It's going to change up some ammo things, trader levels, and such. So we'll make a new video after that. Let me know in the comments what you think. Anything we need to change or add. And we'll see you next time, my friends.